Hello. Oh, audio is just kicking in. It's connect.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly, Chris.
Awesome, brother.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing okay.
Cool, cool. Does it feel good to be back in the saddle? You know, you're doing interviews with people the other side of the world and all that shit.
Yeah, man. A little bit of apocalypse relief, right?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah. Any little bit of normality that we can grab hold of right now, you know?
Jesus, grasping at straws at this point.
Yeah, yeah. I know what you mean. We did we were I'm lucky enough to play a festival in the summer. Played two festivals actually.
Lucky.
Yeah, very. And then one guitarist got COVID and the bass player got COVID. Bass player was fine. One guitarist was like massively ill, and
Yeah,
we had six dates to play, so we had to play them as a four piece instead of a five piece.
crazy.
But of course, it also made me suddenly think, shit, if one of us goes down, everything gets cancelled. So we had to bring in the whole, you know, social distancing. You know, everyone's got their own Sharpie. You know, and just if you want a selfie, it's got to be just slightly apart. It's tough, man, tough.
It is. It is. It's been a challenge this whole time. Machine Head.
Yeah.
We all got sick in very early in February of 20.
Yes, of course. Yeah, you were one of the first bands to bring us what it's like to be down with
Yes.
COVID.
Yeah, it was brutal, because we didn't know, and we were going to urgent care and had rock docs coming backstage, and diagnosis was kind of like, it's walking pneumonia, strep throat flu, and I was like, are you asking us or telling us, doc?
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, it was rough, and it kind of swept through the tour. We got it February 1st through the 4th in New York, I think, is when we all kind of came down with it.
right.
And then
Yeah,
by the time we were in Canada, by the 9th, I was sicker than I'd ever been in my life. And, there was like groups of us out of the 17 out of 29 people that got it. There were like groups, like really severe, and then the next group, and the next group,
yeah.
down to guys that were like, yeah, I feel like shit. I got tour AIDS. No big deal. Uh, but we really found out was when Luke Bell went home, and he was really sick, and then he was diagnosed, and then of course, I mean, we had every generic symptom you could
Right.
imagine, and he kind of confirmed it for us.
Yeah,
So
and I mean that's a perfect kind of segue into what was it like being out there again and playing those songs after all that time.
it was amazing. I mean, the when those guys left, when Dave and Phil left the band, I knew it was the cusp of the 25th anniversary. um I knew Rob was going to call. I knew it, because it was the only thing that really made sense at that point. And it was
Yeah,
but more than the going out, crushing the old beef between me and Rob,
right.
was massive. I mean, I've said it
Yeah,
before. Even without the tour, just having that 5-hour dinner where myself and Joey and Rob sat down and just kind of hashed it all out, dude. I mean, you don't realize how much stuff you push down, how
yeah,
much pain and angst and aggravation and disappointment and regret you push down when you're 24, 25 years old. And then you're sitting there at 52,
yeah,
and you come with the big feelings, and we were able to just exercise all of that stuff out. I liken it to just pulling a giant glob of black tar out of my body,
yeah,
and me and Rob became better friends. Well, I'll say it, we became friends for the first time, not adversaries or two rams on top of a
yeah,
mountain.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, we both had our separate careers very young. Um, both came in kind of with our own bravado and our own kind of you know way about going about things, and
yeah,
I just on this tour, it was such a love fest. I got to tell you, dude, everybody got along. I think there was a break in the way things had been going for Machine Head at that point, having Logan back, having everybody kind of bond on the road, and it was crazy. It was crazy. And the first few weeks was just a madhouse. You know, we had Dom Larson out there, kind of with us as a kind of live-in, you know, journalist, and we were doing photo shoots and doing videos, and you know, those first 15 days was insane. And I had never had plans so far ahead of me. You know, I mean, it was almost 8 months of preparation, you know, and took on a lot of things about my drumming that I had never done before, like playing live to a click, rehearsing to a click track.
Wow, right, yeah.
You never was a click guy.
What's that like? Because as a drummer, is that I mean, I know it's an old comparison, but it's like driving with the handbrake on, right?
Well, you know, I had to sell out to it, you know, and as my buddy Jeff Gomes from Mordred told me, you got to make it your bitch, you know. You have to make it part of the song, and you have to realize that you can either let it confine you in a box, or you can make it more of a guideline, and
and play around it.
Yeah, and use it as form. But you know, really what was the big thing was, like, I'm a very free form drummer. John Bonham, Keith Moon, Cozy Powell, Ian Pace, you know, kind of like move the song with the energy kind of guy, you know. When we were building the click tracks, they did a computer thing on Davidian, and it sourced 159 tempo changes.
Brilliant.
Right? So it was a bit of a challenge to find that medium between what's going to make the song move the way it did. And you know, some songs we ended up on tour just kind of tossing the click out, because it was confining, and Rob sensed that there was some special energy happening with letting the top blow off at the end of the song, you know. And so that was really a challenge, but with the help of Steve Lagudi and Rob kind of pushing me along and encouraging me, I was able to do it. And I really do believe that, like, look, like Rob said, if you're on the road and your dog dies, you're gonna come on stage and just play flat and lethargic and you know. And then if you're in Germany and you got 15 friends there, you're gonna play fucking a million miles per hour, all super stoked. And it preserves the integrity of the tempo of each song and the vibe. So I just sold out to that.
I hadn't thought of that. You know, I've only been playing in bands for 25 years.
Right.
I hadn't thought of that, and it's absolutely right. And you know, you come off stage, and it's, you know, it's that moment where you turn to one member and you're like, what the fuck were you doing tonight? What show were you playing? Because you know, or you'd like halfway through a set, you think, he's got friends here,
right?
you know,
right? Yeah, and I know for a fact I victimized songs over the years due to those kind of situations, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially
people coming off shaking their hand like, oh my God, dude, you were flying. I could barely. And then, you know, the riff gets mushed, and the picking structures get, you know, eliminated. And
absolutely. It's such a fine margin as well, especially with thrash, because you have to have that definition. Because if you know, if triplets are triplets, and if someone's too fast, it's a fucking mess.
Totally. You know, and then you know, the other part of it was just like, for me, you know, my nickname in Machine Head is General Public. You know, I love to bash down the rock star vibe, the whole us. I hate the word punters. You know,
you're from a hardcore background, aren't you? You're from a hardcore background, so it's kind of
it's all about sharing the vibe. And I'm still a front row guy. I collect drumsticks. You know, I'm an autograph hound. You know, I still get starstruck. You know, so.
Oh well, thank you very much.
Hey. so so going and meeting the people and hanging out in front of the show and getting that interaction is so important to me. And Rob and Jared both told me, dude, you're really going to enjoy our fan base, and they're going to enjoy your enthusiasm to meet them and stuff. So it was in that way really, really rewarding.
And also you'd be meeting fans who didn't get a chance to see the band back in the day, but you'd also be meeting fans who weren't alive, or discovered Burn My Eyes later in life, but it's been massively influential for them. So you've got a whole hodgepodge of people to connect with on so many different levels.
It was super enjoyable. It really was. And and you get to flip, like I said, you get to flip the script a little bit, man. I'm just a metalhead, man. I'm still a fucking battle vest and I noticed, so it's like there's no, I feel you can waste a tremendous amount of experience and time kicking it backstage or hiding on the bus playing video games. For some people it's too much, to give yourself 100% on stage and then give yourself 100% after. But the meet and greets were super cool. Meeting people, getting to chat. The way Machine Head handle their meet and greets is, I think, pretty unique. It's a real long kind of experience where you not only walk the line and get stuff signed, but then we chill afterwards and we, do the selfies and the talks and cool. All that stuff. And then, so that was really special. And so it was very, very cool to kind of sledgehammer the legacy that the record has. The production was over the top, biggest production Machine Head had ever brought out. I talked Rob into pyro.
Brilliant.
And that was like a dream come true for me to play on stage as being such a huge Kiss fan and stuff, to finally feel the heat was pretty over the top, man. I felt like Bruce Lee stuck in an Evel Knievel commercial in Gene Simmons boots. The 12-year-old kid in me was absolutely flipping out, so
that's that must have been just amazing. And it's also amazing the amount of guys in bands from the States that I talked to who reference Kiss as an influence, because being from I'm not a fan, but being from the UK, they were never that big here.
Right.
But it's amazing the amount of people in metal who are influenced by Kiss of our era. It's phenomenal.
I just, I've always been a production whore, I was brought up on Alice Cooper and, that mystique, that, become a character kind of, I've said a lot of times, I'm more of an entertainer than I am a musician. I feel that there are two different worlds, and getting up there and being entertaining and taking the hard-earned entertainment dollar from people. If you go up there just with a couple white lights in bad purple sweats and it for me it's a little flat,
there's nothing worse than going seeing a band and the bass player's walking around like he's lost a contact lens, and it's just like, no, that's not what it's about. I'm exactly the same. I've done stand-up for 25 years and I'm a singer as well. So it's kind of like, for me, I was influenced very early on in my career where I went to see a UK band called Marillion and the singer, Fish, fucking, I've been ripping him off ever since. Because, first gig I ever went to, it was like, you play the song and it's like, oh my God, the entertainment doesn't stop between songs. It carries on. And then the song starts. And I was like, a light bulb went off, I was like, so if you can give people 100% instead of just like 60% between songs, why waste that time?
Right.
I always believe in you've got to, and also making every show unique.
If you can, absolutely. Yes. So it was awesome to be out there on that size production and, doing the live streams and stuff. And, bonding with Matt Alston and, sharing the same drum set, I think really blew a lot of kids' minds and people's minds that it was a real leave your ego at the door kind of tour. Serve the tour, serve the song, relinquish some of that stuff, that you may bring to a tour where it's like, well, I only play white drum sets or like,
absolutely. Yeah. I know what you mean.
It was about making it really happen for the tour. And, it was great. I had a blast, man.
The great thing about that as well is that when it's like that, if you do have one person who's being a dick, they soon get policed by everybody else.
For sure. For sure.
And it's like, no, get back in line. That's not how this is working. And I've just remembered. I've remembered. I think I saw you guys, including you, playing basically a Burn My Eyes set in London Astoria, a Christmas show. Christmas show where the stage got invaded at the end.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't see the band at all.
Right. Yeah, that was a big thing. That was a big thing on that tour. I mean, me and Rob, we ripped out quite a few barriers on that tour. We were like, get that out of there, because there's something lost with the elbows on the stage, the people right there stage diving. I'm a huge stage dive fan. I'm, into that. And I'm on that tour. It got out of control a few times. More than a few times in Barcelona. It was absolutely crazy. Kids were trying to steal our stomp pedals, running back to the drum set. I mean, it got out of control, but you know what? There's that element of free form and out of control that is awesome as well.
Absolutely. I mean, I've experienced it myself, and there's nothing quite as amusing as going back into the dressing room and your guitarist realizes that the knobs on his guitar have been stolen.
Yes. We had to stop doing blackouts on that tour because every time we'd black out the lights, you would just hear the thumping on the stage. And then the lights would come on and there'd be like 4 people like with a hat and a fucking pair of, they would strip the picks off the mic stand and we were like, whoa, and the roadies were going crazy. I'll tell you a quick story that has a connection to the reunion tour. We played in Vienna on the 95 tour, and a kid came up on stage and he ran behind Rob and he grabbed Rob's hat off of his head. Now, of course, grabbing a bundle of hair as well.
Yeah.
Janked Rob's head back, jumped off the stage, dove into the crowd, and Rob kind of freaked out. Rob was super fucking pissed. And our road crew jumped in the crowd and they chased him through the wake of people. And the kid just handed it to some big guy as he ran by. He just put the hat on some guy's chest, so the dude just handed the hat back. Well, Rob said, where is that guy who stole my hat? Kind of breaking the show, and the kid came up to the front and Rob stepped across the barrier and he fucking laid the guitar down on him, just whack, like hit this kid in the head.
Fuck.
And I think he just wanted to give him a good knock, but he split this kid's head open. Really bad. And the crowd started booing and we played like 4 more songs and got the fuck off stage. Well, about 20 minutes later, there was a knock on the backstage door and it was Austrian police, the kid in a giant egg bandage, and the kid's older brother. And they were going to press charges on the kid for stealing the hat.
Yeah.
And they wanted to talk to Rob. So they talked to Rob. It seemed to be ironed out. And we gave the kid a ton of merchandise and stuff. Well, the next day, obviously, he went home. The parents saw the bandage and all that. And the cops came to the next show and pulled Rob in for about 7 hours. Pretty dicey. Could have been deported for striking a national and all that, So it got ironed out. And on this Machine Head tour, we went back to Vienna and the guy showed up. And
amazing.
yeah, and he was there, and we all spoke, and still had the scar, of course. And it was really trippy, man, to just have this moment so many years later.
Yeah.
He didn't go see Machine Head again.
Right.
Remained a fan of the music, but always had this
Yeah.
soft spot for the band.
Yeah.
And it was just great meeting him and kicking back and chilling with him. And Rob did a whole big thing during the beginning of I can't remember the name of the song. Rob does like a break where he kind of talks to the crowd and told the story. And the dude got up on the shoulders of his mate and stuff, and the crowd was all waving to him and stuff.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. It was like a closure, you know. We got a little
Yeah.
closure on that whole situation, which was cool.
So,
and there were lots of little moments like that happened where, like, we had partied with people, or we, you know, somebody had helped us out during a time on tour, and we got to reunite with them. So that was super special, those moments.
see, you weren't the only one who got to bury a beef with Rob. This kid was able to do
There
it
you
as well.
go.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was cool.
That's awesome, man. Well, I want to travel back in time, okay?
All
because you play on two of my favorite albums. One, of course, being Burn My Eyes, but the other being American Paranoia.
Oh, cool! Right on, man.
As a kid, I was very much into my hardcore alongside my thrash, you know,
right?
And
pure crossover.
Yeah, absolutely. And it always had like a big influence on me. And, you know, Andy was an influence as a singer and a frontman as well.
Sure.
And I'm trying to get him on the podcast and he won't fucking come on. But anyway, that's
he won't do anything. He won't do anything.
Right. Okay. I feel better.
Yeah.
So thanks for that. But that's that. Obviously, you've got the demo, and that is that your like kind of your first experience in the studio and everything. And how old were you? And like how just kind of freaked out were you by the fact that it's like, wow, I'm recording a record?
Yeah, it was definitely my first band. We started in the summer of '83, rehearsing as a 3-piece. We were called Homicidal Youth, and then by the time it became 84, we got Kevin Reed from Teenage Warning on vocals, and that's when it became Attitude Adjustment. My friend Mike Kennett named the band. He did an ollie over a bum in San Francisco, and the guy jumped up and told him he was going to give him an attitude adjustment. And Mike said, "You should name your band that." And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's a fucking awesome name." Brought it to the band. That's how we kind of started.
Brilliant.
And you know, the influences that were going on in the band at that time were, like you said, completely crossover from Celtic Frost to GBH, from, you know, Cro-Mags to Slayer to, you know, just across the board. So we all kind of brought something. So it was like a pure crossover band, you know, metalheads and punks in the band. And that demo was a trip. We recorded it with Doug Piercy from Heathen. And those songs all kind of, I don't remember writing the songs. That's how fast the writing process, it was just all happening so fast at that time.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Reed got in some trouble. He had to go on a little state paid vacation. And of course, at that age, he's in prison, he's dead, we're never going to see him again, you know, that kind of vibe.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's when Chris Capero and Andy Anderson came into the fold. And I had gone to high school was in high school with Andy and Chris. And that's when the band really solidified. I think that's when we found our momentum. And, you know, Pusshead was interested in signing the band. And that was crazy to us, you know, like a record deal, like, whoa.
Yeah.
But not outside the box, you know, because our peers and our other bands that we were into were getting signed, and that was kind of a hotbed at that time for independent punk rock labels putting bands out. So the demo was killer. I you know, the American Paranoia record, it has its merits and everything. I still wish we could have recorded it somewhere else and maybe even taken a more British approach to the 24-track big sound, because it was a 16-track, and I feel it's kind of muffled. And, you know, I think production thing didn't really hit the Bay Area. There's a lot of poorly produced albums from back then. But in saying that, it has its own stylistic vibe, and you know, it does its thing. So, you know,
but also from a fan's point of view, I want to pick you up there, because from a fan's point of view, I thought it sounded sonically a lot better than a lot of your peers and a lot of stuff that I was listening to at that time that was coming out at that time. And I've always been an audiophile, and I've always been into production. Because it can make or break a record, because you can have a great record, but if it's unlistenable, then it's fucked.
For sure.
You know? But I always thought that it sounded great, and it sounded like that step above. But that's a perspective of a listener, that that's an outsider looking in. Whereas when you're inside looking out, you want it a certain way, and you're disappointed if it's not a certain way. But I can tell you, I can honestly tell you, it you put a lot of bands in the shade, and I thought it sounded great.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that. I do.
Not at all. And you came back to the band in 91.
Well, actually, when those guys, it's funny, but you know, we recorded that record, and before it even came out, Andy, Chris, and Rick split. They wanted to do a different thing. They wanted to bring Keith Chatham into the band from Condemned to Death. And I was not feeling that combination, and they wanted to go a little bit more rock and roll, a little bit, and it just wasn't feeling it. So basically Thanksgiving Day of 86, they left the band. The record hadn't even been released yet. So
happy Thanksgiving, Chris.
Oh, it was a bit of we had it turned into a fist fight in front of my house. It was fucking gnarly.
Kids, we were shit to each other as kids.
Yeah, I was pretty devastated because I had high hopes for the band to go out on tour. We were getting offers from big bands to go out. Pushead had a big plan of attack for us to go out, and I felt like we were getting our legs cut out. And then, they go on to call the band Condemned Attitude, and then it became Attitude, which was our nickname. Andy definitely did that on purpose, because much like Suicidal Tendencies or a lot of two-name bands, you get abbreviated. So people were like, are you going to go see Attitude? That was our nickname. So well played. And then when they did the European tour, I think a lot of people were a little confused. It caused a lot of confusion. So I got Kevin Reed back in the band. By the spring of 87, I had Kevin Reed and Eric McIntyre back in the band. And that's when we did in 88, we did No More Mr. Nice Guy with Ray Vegas on bass from Social Unrest.
Yeah.
And then, 1990, we did the Out of Hand record. And then, dude, just between meth and alcohol and girlfriends, and we just broke up. It just exploded, and we weren't together again for like 19 years. And then then 97, the guys gave me a call and said that their band Deface was offered a couple shows with Raw Power from Italy, which was another huge influence on us. And would I be interested? They didn't have a drummer at the time, and they said, would I be interested in doing the show? And I said, yeah, I'll do the show if we end the set with a package of Attitude Adjustment songs.
Yeah.
And they were into that idea, and we did, and the place absolutely fucking exploded.
Yeah.
So we kind of got back together and had a pretty good run from 2007 to 2012. We got to tour Europe for the first time. We recorded a new album with Stu Madsen, who produced all kinds of bands. Everybody knows Stu.
I mean, he's like in the stratosphere these days, isn't he?
Yeah,
everyone.
Yeah, totally.
By the way, great sounding record as well.
We had a good time with that one. We recorded it with my buddy Anders Lundmark from Conqueror. I was in that band Conqueror in 97. And so I've always stayed real close with him, and he had Starstruck Studios there in Denmark. So we kind of rounded off the tour by ending up in Denmark and recording the record, put it out on Tang Records. It's kind of a phantom album, kind of hard to find.
Yeah, I found it eventually, but it's like you said, Phantom Record. It's overlooked as well. It's a because I was genuine. I was just like wandering around the internet, and Attitude Adjustment popped in my head for some reason. I was like searching everywhere, and I found it. And
Yeah.
Honesty is the best policy. I thought,
Yeah,
this is going to be shit. you know
nice. Nice.
And I was blown away by it. I was like, wow, this is, I mean, I was guilty of There's No Andy.
Right.
I'm going to treat it with a lot of suspicion. I was like, this is really good.
Right. It's a trip. Andy was only in Attitude Adjustment a total of 7 months.
Yeah. Well,
it was very fast.
Well, I followed Attitude, you see. The whole We Bite Records thing, the EP with a big face, which was like, now you mention the name, you think of that cover art, and I'm thinking that cover art was also a fuck you as well.
Little bit.
Yeah.
There was some fuck you going on for quite a while,
Yeah.
I tried to reunite the band for a live show. We got the chance to open up for Anvil.
Cool.
2008, I believe, and I wanted to get Andy and Rick and Chris up on stage to just because we're playing the Fillmore, and that was a dream shot for us, and but yeah, Andy has just really made it clear he doesn't want to go backwards, doesn't want to go back to the past. He signed off for the Tang release of the archives and stuff, but that's about all he's been willing to do, was kind of sign the contracts to get the old record out on Tang Records. But yeah, dude, it was cool to do that record. It was something that kind of been in the can for all of us, some new songs are on there, some songs that were actually Death Toll songs that hadn't seen the light of day, so we kind of spoofed them up, kind of gave them that Attitude Adjustment flair, a little bit of crossover there. And I'm proud of that record. I wish it was out there more. We're going to be going forward with releasing the catalog on Beer City Records, so it'll be coming out on Beer City. It'll probably be a little bit more accessible for people to find that No Way Back album.
Oh, awesome. Well, I've only got it digitally, so it'd be great to get a physical release if they're going to be doing that.
Yeah, for sure. I'll make sure you get one.
Oh, please do. That's just awesome. Is there any plans like going back to American Paranoia? Is there any kind of remaster plans or anything like that?
Yeah. He's gonna remaster actually the whole catalog, because that's what didn't happen when we put it out on Tang Records. He didn't do anything like that. So
right.
Beer City, Mike at Beer City is going to do like a whole big thing, and we're going to do liner notes, and we've got some special little things we're going to put in the records.
Oh man, this is what I love hearing about. This is like I'm like a kid at Christmas for stuff like this. And
and like, vinyl. That's the cool thing, is that finally all that stuff's going to be kind of reissued on vinyl.
Brilliant. That's awesome. I had it on vinyl and CD, so
yeah.
But for a band that started at school, you've had a good old run, and it's taken you all over the world.
Yeah, I'm very thankful and grateful that my music career has been able to do basically what I wanted it to do, as far as get the music out there, and like I said, make connections with people. I have so many dear friends, lifelong friends. And Facebook really opened up that lotus too, because you meet all these people when it was still just dial-up phone and everything, and you lose contact with people and everything. And that 2008 moment happens, and all of a sudden everybody's on MySpace, and then it folds into Facebook, and I've reconnected with so many people that I met throughout the different bands I've been in. And that's why I kind of can't quit Facebook, really, because my experience on Facebook, though there have been some bullshit arguments and some weird things like that, it's actually been awesome for reconnecting and staying in touch. And I met the incomparable Jace Lewis.
Yes.
And we're just fucking brothers. I mean, we are so close. The dude has been there for me in so many different ways, and we've written music together, and we've done.
Oh, I know. Music we're never going to fucking hear.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. The Colossal Lost thing is going to happen.
Cool. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. COVID kind of, fucked that. We were all prepped to do that with Cesar Sato from Ministry and Logan Mader,
Yeah.
and his bass player Scion, and so yeah, that's gonna happen. It's just we needed the COVID thing to kind of lighten up. So
That's awesome news.
Going back over to Wales to record with him, and
dude, I'm there. I will come down. I'll pay you a visit. I'll do unwanted.
That'd be awesome.
I'll do some unwanted guest vocals.
No, that'd be awesome, dude. We'd love that. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. I mean, that studio is a special place. I mean, we recorded our first album for 29 years with Jace, and he got the best performance out of my career out of me, and
it's an awesome record, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome. Really enjoy it.
I mean, his like production on that, his input and everything else was huge. Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a bit of a fucking genius. He really is.
So totally underestimated. And the funny thing is like I would say when the album came out, I would say 7 to 8 out of 10 reviews refer to the production.
Oh yeah.
And that for me is so cool because it was earned, because
sure.
The quality of the sonics and everything else, and the reason why it doesn't sound like laptop metal is that there's real sounds on there because it's real drums, it's real guitar.
Oh, he insists. Yeah, he insists on the real sound.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's those connections. Meeting someone like him, he's his Machine Head moment. He's 15 years old. You know what I mean? And kind of have that, but more than that, the friendship that we've built, is immense.
Yeah, no, he's spoken of you fondly many times.
Nice. I watched your podcast with him quite some time ago.
Yes, yeah, quite some time ago.
Yeah, I think I was beefing about Manchester United with you guys for a little bit.
Yeah. I think I'll move swiftly on.
Okay, we should right now. We're fucking shite.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to just stay in the league, so
right.
But yeah, and I mean, I totally agree with Facebook and stuff. But and the other thing as well is that you can connect, outside of social media. But when you bump into somebody that you did a tour with like 15, 20 years ago, and you go, hey, dude, you're like, oh, cool, and it's like they walked out the door and came back in again.
Yeah.
I
super value that.
It's really hard to describe to somebody who hasn't been in a band how it feels and how it works. And I can only describe it as you have such unique experiences that are frozen in time, and they're such treasured memories that
for sure,
when you reconnect with that person, you might, like I said, you might not have seen them for 15, 20 years, but it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah. No, it's special.
Yeah, without a doubt. And we kind of, coming up to more up to date. We've completely gone about this all over the map, but who cares?
It's all good.
Yeah, who cares? You're back with the Boneless Ones. So how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, that's a trippy one. I joined that band concurrent. Actually, I was in both bands. I was in Attitude Adjustment and the Boneless Ones in 86, 87. When I joined that band, I kind of walked into a bit of a hornet's nest. They were already at each other's throats.
Lovely.
Kind of disintegrating at the moment I joined, and the band split up. We moved away from Max, and I went into a band called Hell's Kitchen. 35 years later, the guitar player Luke Skeels passed away. He had years of drug abuse and
having too much fun,
mental health issues and stuff. Really plagued him, and you know, combination of both. But he passed away, and I think it put a bit of a mortality check on everybody, as that will happen when a band member dies, you know, legacy kind of person for you. And Max reached out to me, and he was real gung-ho about getting the Boneless Ones back together. And I kind of told him, hey, timing's everything. You know, at that time I was removed from the music industry, was racing BMX real hard, super committed to racing BMX, and really changed my life, and wasn't even thinking about being in a band. So I kind of pushed him off, kind of held him off 2017, 2018. And then kind of felt right around 2019 to start thinking about doing it. And boom, the Machine Head thing kicks off. And
right, yeah.
You know, so we rehearsed, we went through a couple guitar players. They had a fill-in drummer because we had, you know, done a couple shows. And they got a fill-in drummer while I was out on the road. They did a couple shows with him, Dave from the Avengers. And when we got back, we were just struggling with the guitar player thing, you know, because Luke was super. He's one of Joe Satriani's first top 10 students. So he was super skilled, if not over-skilled, to be in a thrashy skate rock band. You know, he did all the bar tricks and the hammer-ons and all the cool, snazzy flair. And we just weren't getting that out of the guitar players we were playing with. Either they were too punk rock or too bluesy. And I reached out to Craig Licicero from Forbidden, Man-Made God,
I
Spiral Arms.
I know Craig. I know Craig very well. There's another Facebook connection that I made after 20 years.
Nice.
Yeah. Such a great dude.
He's just amazing. And you know, I was in Spiral Arms with him, which was a totally different style of music.
Yes. Do you know what? I think I interviewed him around the time where you just joined.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. And hands down, the greatest guitar player I've ever played with. He's a genius, actually. I put him right in that category with no problem saying that. Stylistically, his technique is just impeccable. His attention to detail and tone is just unbelievable. And I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna ask Craig if he wants to do this. And he was more than enthusiastic. We had 4 songs that never saw the light of day from '87 in the Boneless Ones, so we thought that would kind of be the nucleus. And then the 3 of us, Troy, myself, and Max, would write songs and see if Craig would help us finish them. And that was kind of the idea. And Craig went berserk, and he wrote 8 songs that are, for me, just mind-blowingly fucking cool. And we're all in. We just recorded our new album, which is far exceeded our expectations. We recorded at Machine Head Studio Sharkbite with Zach Orton, engineer. And then we had it mixed by Matt Weiniger, who just won a Grammy with Fabulous Negrito.
Oh, wow.
And he did all the old Primus stuff and a bunch of Bay Area bands from back in the day. He's fucking amazing. And he fell in love with it, and I think put some extra time and effort into mixing the album. And we're super proud of it. Super, super proud of it. We're going to put it out ourselves.
Awesome.
So yeah, I think that's kind of best for us. Troy, our bass player, Troy Takaki, he's a pretty hardcore Hollywood editor. And he's been able to slip the Boneless Ones music into movies over the years. Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Brilliant.
3 of them, actually. And then, you know, Jennifer Aniston movie called The Bounty Hunter. And we're coming out in a new skateboard documentary. So over time, you know, he's been able to do that kind of stuff. And Thrasher Magazine has always kind of championed the Boneless Ones as being one of the best skate rock bands of all time. So there's always been this kind of lingering legacy. So we think that the timing has been perfect for us to come back and do our thing. And we're super, super happy and excited about springtime getting this thing out.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's it going to be called?
It's called Back to the Grind.
Hey, because you're back to the grind.
Right. The little double
Yeah.
entendre
Oh,
there.
I like that. Like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, cool.
it's chock full of skateboard lyrics and all kinds of tongue-in-cheek action, and also some cool serious stuff. Life has moved forward over 35 years, so Max had
Yeah.
some stuff he wanted to get out, so there's maybe some serious notes on this album lyrically.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool, and it's, I think, a great representation of Bay Area crossover music, from rock and roll, punk rock, to thrash, to just all out fucking, maybe surprising kind of death metal a little bit. But I think it's a good representation of what came out of Ruthie's Inn, and
Yeah.
so
Well,
we're hyped.
Funnily enough, I just did a series of 3 podcasts over Christmas with a guy called Mark DeVito.
Oh yeah, love Mark.
Well, you talking about that piece of time and everything else. I've just done 3 podcasts with him, talking about all those days, and I'll send you a link, because I'm sure you'll be like, there'll be loads of memories come flooding back for you as well.
Love to watch those.
But he was just like, yeah, man, just talking about about Ruthie's Inn, about how Exodus were the band, they were the daddies, and then Metallica appeared, and everyone was like, holy shit. What's going on here?
The documentary Murder in the Front Row.
Yeah,
so incredible. But what it did for me was it really put a stamp on the fact that, goddamn, it's fucking Kirk Hammett's fucking world. I mean, without Kirk Hammett, I don't think the entire thrash thing happens. He shows Gary Holt how to hold a fucking pick and chord a guitar. He pulls fucking Cliff Burton, he pulls Paul Bailoff. He moves into Metallica and takes them in a totally different, I think, structure. And without Cliff, without Kirk, they don't move to the Bay Area.
Yeah,
that whole fuck LA thing doesn't happen. The whole thing kind of comes together on the back of Exodus and into Metallica. And such a great documentary, and just so cool.
I love it.
So formative. Those times were incredible. I met my wife across the street at Big O Tires from Ruthie's Inn. I was going to metal shows where I was maybe one of 3, 4 punk rockers.
Yeah.
Going to see Slayer in '83, and Keystone Berkeley shows and stuff, and it was still hot. I mean, it was uncool to have a 22-inch mohawk at a fucking metal show. I mean, you're still getting the fucking, what the fuck, fucking Culture Club, fucking, I mean, like the rep, like I like to say, I was punk rock when it was still, hey, faggot, it's like, it was, you could get your ass beat at either show, long hairs.
Yeah.
Punk, and Ruthie's forced the crossover moment. Metalheads coming to see Broken Bones, punk rockers going to see Slayer. It happened here. I don't think it was late coming in every other scene.
Yeah, great. By the way, great shout there for Broken Bones, who are a band who seem to be completely lost in. They don't appear anywhere in any kind of metal history. They don't appear anywhere in a punk history, and crossover doesn't seem to have any kind of identifiable history. And yeah, they're so underrated.
Oh, totally, dude. They blew our minds when they came. It was just, they were perfect. Yeah.
I've got Dem Bones on vinyl over there.
Nice.
I've got it. I think I got it in lockdown. It was one of those lockdown purchases.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, underneath it, I can see the book of Murder in the Front Row as well.
Nice.
Which is a beautiful thing. I remember I went to see DRI, and I spent about half an hour interviewing Kurt. And Kurt was quite Kurt in both senses of the word.
He is.
He was and he was setting up merch whilst doing the interview, And
every night.
And I walked away, and it was very early on when I first started the podcast, and I'd fucked up, and I hadn't recorded anything, and I bumped into Harold. And I was like, "Hey, Harold." He's like, "Oh, hey." And I was like, introduce myself. And he's like, I know the name of your band. I was like, "Oh, cool." And I said, "Oh, you're not going to believe it. So I've just spent half an hour with Kurt, and you know, I haven't got anything." And he was like, "Turn it on. I'll talk to you." And of course, yeah, absolutely. It's like the one person. Yeah. I mean, I've just failed to record an interview with the person I turned up to interview.
Yeah.
The best person in the industry to walk round the corner is Harold. So
totally, love him so much.
Oh, it's just, I mean, he just switched on, you know, I pressed record, and it was like go. And he's just such an engaging character, such a lovely guy as well. Just
totally
sweet natured person.
Yeah, love him. Love Harold, you know, love him.
Yeah.
And we love DRI, you know, Boneless Ones just played a great show with DRI. I've always been super close with the guys. Bass player from Attitude Adjustment is actually in the band, Greg Orr. He went from Attitude Adjustment into DRI. My buddy on drums, Rob Rampy, is just amazing drummer. So yeah, they're probably, like you were just saying, the representation of crossover. They're probably the standard for me for still with perseverance and moving forward and doing shows, the best representation of Bay Area crossover that there might be.
Absolutely. I mean, I saw them headline a show with the original lineup of Napalm Death in
sick,
and Holy Terror and the UK punk band Heresy. And that was a fucking, and John Peel was in the crowd, who I got to have a chat with as well, and I got to thank him for getting me into the Descendants. It was like a magical night that I will never forget.
That sounds like it.
You know, as a young kid, and to think I saw DRI. Then I bought one of Kirk's self-produced books about him living in a tree and living in a tree. Yeah, and it was just like,
got it right there.
Yeah, it's just like amazing memories. And in fact, I remember I went to see Scream at the Duchess of York in Leeds, and it was when Dave Grohl was playing drums for them,
right?
And me and my friend would always, like, you know, hang around, meet the bands, and we got to meet Dave afterwards. And both me and my friend were like, "Dude, do you know Felix from DRI?" And he was like, "Yeah, I do." It's like, "Because you totally look like him." And it was like his performance that night. Me and my friend were like, "This guy's like Felix."
Felix had a very broad influence on quite a few drummers. His style, he had this rolling, linear approach to his drumming that I think really smacked a lot of people in the face. Playing shows with Scream back in the day with Attitude Adjustment, and then with Hell's Kitchen, when the whole Nirvana moment happened. They played here their first Nirvana big Nevermind show here at the Warfield, and L7 was opening up, and Verbal Abuse had been out on tour with L7, so I got to go see that show and hang with Dave, and it was just so cool to be like seeing him in that moment, knowing him and Skeeter from Scream, to have this like, wow, look at Dave go, but no idea that it's gonna go fucking Foo Fighters all the way to Studio 666. You know, I mean, like,
it's insane. You know, it's insane.
It's fucking insane. You know, punk rocker gone good, right? You know,
I mean, it's like I you know, when I met him fleetingly, I think it was 85, and and like when Nirvana happened, I was like, that's the guy that, I mean, I'd followed his career anyway, so I knew it was him. Sure. But it was just like, it was just melting my brain that this band was now absolutely huge, and it's like, that's the dude from Scream traveling around in a van, putting in the hours, putting in the days, putting in the miles, you know, and just incredible. And even today, even now, right up to today, whatever you think of the Foo Fighters, whatever you think of their music, they are the quintessential biggest punk rock band ever, because that band has never signed a fucking record deal ever.
Right.
They just signed distribution deals. They own all of their music. I mean, Dave played it absolutely perfect, you know?
Yeah.
And
yeah, he did. He truly did. Yeah.
It's amazing.
You know, and still stays completely genuine, completely funny, so real. You know, the great picture of him with the Murder in the Front Row book, you know, it's perfectly natural to see him with that book and the look on his face. You're like, fuck yeah, he knows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, he's in the Descendants documentary Filmage. And he's you know, he's talking about like ripping off Bill Stevenson and like, you know, what an incredible drummer he is. And it's just like,
Bill.
Dude, you know, dude's just a fan. Oh, Bill, fuck. Don't even watching that guy live is like just insane.
Yeah, I was all fucking fucked up and starstruck. Verbal Abuse did tour in '89 in Germany we did 5 shows with the Descendants, and I just sat behind him the whole time, looking at his gross, hairy gorilla back.
Yeah.
But I mean, just so solid, and just the tuning, like that's another thing, like his cymbals, you know, like we talked about cymbals and tuning, and like those voices are so important when maybe people were just kind of throwing shit together to play music, you know, selection of sound and tuning. He taught me a lot of that. I thought I was already kind of moving in that direction, but then to get somebody of his stature to kind of verify that, yes, that's what you need to do. Your drums are tuned correctly. Those cymbals sound great.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing. Yeah. Fucking great drummer, man. Great.
Yeah.
Huge Black Flag fan.
But I mean, a great drummer, a great songwriter, a great writer of melodies, a great.
Yep. Smart across the board.
Yeah. And apparently, you know, quite the taskmaster in the studio as well.
Sure.
But just an all-round like legend of the scene. You know, again, I still feel like the Descendants, they're close to getting the kind of recognition that they deserve, but they still don't really have it. You know,
it's funny. Sometimes maybe too much recognition can damage a band, and sometimes I kind of like the jewelry box of certain bands that, you know, it's you pull it out and it's not for everybody, and like, oh, you didn't get it, it wasn't for you. I'm almost, you know, I want people to have their success and their just dues, but at the same time, they weren't ruined, you know. They didn't have that original sheen rubbed off. It stayed true, and kind of that can have its merit too.
Do you know, you're absolutely right. You know what? That's why I've still got 4 Descendants t-shirts in my drawer today, because they are still that band. I mean, I remember going to see. I think I went to see All, because I loved All as well. I don't get the difference between the two. And in fact, I love them so much. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this, but I have a. Let's see.
There he is.
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's Allroy as well. So that's right. So it's Milo thinking about Allroy. For listeners, I've just given Chris the delight of seeing my ankle.
Nice pins, Howard.
Thank you very much, chap. And it's and so I love All, and I went to see them again at the Duchess of York, which is a legendary old venue. We used to play it loads. It was just the best place ever. And I was talking to Carl before the gig, and I said, "Are you playing Suburban Home tonight?" I said, "You know, I'm an All fan. Don't get me wrong. I'm here to see All, but I presume you're going to play some Descendant songs. And are you playing Suburban Home?" And he goes, "No. Well, we didn't have any plans to. Would you like us to?" And I was like, "Yeah, that'd be amazing." And he was like, "Yeah, okay, no problem." And then
fucking in the set.
And like halfway through the show, you know, it gets to Suburban Home, and Carl just goes up to the mic and goes, "This is for the guy I was talking to earlier, Suburban Home." And I was like,
bam,
my God, this is
fuck yeah.
Yeah, you know. I was
Fuck
like,
yeah.
oh God. I went home with just this warm feeling that night. I
Yeah.
really did. It was awesome.
Yeah, man.
It was awesome.
Those are the takeaways, dude. Those are the special kind of connections you get from our culture, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And well, look, speaking of which, I have some subscriber questions for you.
Okay.
Okay. So these are from Patreon subscribers. And
All right.
first up, it's a little plug for my Patreon. Make sure you sign up, people.
Get on there.
This is Brian O'Donoghue. Brian said this is a drum question, not a dumb question, a drum question. Okay,
That's almost the same thing.
yeah, I didn't like to say, it says, "What's your?" It's a nice, simple one actually, and that's what's your practice routine?
I absolutely dread practice. I hate to play by myself. I really connect with a bass player and the song. I react to lyrics differently. My practice routine would be more of just warming up and kind of keeping my hands going. But I don't and never have really practiced the drums. I have always kind of let the hands fly in the studio while we're playing.
Yeah,
I for years was playing in more than one band at a time. So the rehearsal schedule was vigorous. So I was around my drums a lot. So I hate to discourage people in any weird way about practice, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't read music. I don't read tab.
Yeah,
And
it's a very punk rock ethos, which is just play what you feel the music, and
yeah,
that's the whole point.
yeah, that's kind of how it's all come out. Now, recently, going back to the Machine Head thing with having to learn to play to a click, I got one of those Roland E kits, and because just between the days that Machine Head was rehearsing, I felt that the off days were being wasted because I needed to get on board with this whole thing. And so, and also playing with in-ears for the first time ever. I'd
Oh yeah,
never,
that's going to
you,
be weird.
I was like, I got to get on this. So probably from February of 2019 was probably the most I've ever practiced in my life, because once I got the E kit, you have all those different sounds you can dial through, right?
Right.
So you punch up a country kit and you start playing country music, or you punch up a Latin, all these different sounds. And it kind of for me at least, it made me start to play those styles. And then also going on YouTube and finding a bunch of songs without drums. All
Yeah.
kinds of music out there without drums that you can play
Yeah.
along to. So that was super fun. So yeah, as far as that goes, I don't really practice.
That's cool, man. That's the best answer that I'm ever likely to have to that question.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Thanks, Brian, for that question too.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. So next up, it's Mark Penson. Now, Mark would like to know, and we kind of touched on this, and he's asking a good question that I forgot to ask. So there you go.
Okay.
And it says, are you still riding BMX? And did you need to stop when preparing for Machine Head anniversary shows?
Yeah. Thanks, Mark, for your dreadful and painful question. Yeah, BMX had to go bye-bye when the Machine Head thing started. Actually, the funny thing happened right when Joey called. Within 30 seconds, my wife was on the couch, I had the phone, and I held the phone away from my head, and I said, bye-bye BMX, and back on the phone. Yeah, too much of a liability. We sell it. They sell a T-shirt at the track that says, if you're not crashing, you're not trying.
Yeah.
In my 5-year BMX career, 5 injuries. It's a fucking blood sport. We're clipped into the pedals. It's fucking 8 guys my size, all barreling down the track at 29 miles per hour into the first turn. The sport has changed a lot. The bikes are super light. 25-foot asphalt cupped turns. The track is not soft dirt. It's more of like a terracotta glue. So it's super fast and super hard when you crash. So yeah, dude. And then right after that into COVID, which kind of kept me away because, you know, social gathering, you can't be that close to each other. And then right into the Boneless Ones. So I've been off for quite a bit, but I do have the wall of
oh, cool, man.
The wall of fame over there, you know, and I am thankful
That's...
because, you know, the sport really changed my life. You know, I got into the sport after I fell into a coma, and
wow.
2013, it was something that was plaguing me during the machine head era. I was having impacted saliva glands, and
Right.
food and particles and whatever had been flowing backwards into my saliva glands, and they were getting impacted. So I had to have them removed. And at that time, I was like 330 pounds,
Wow.
pretty disillusioned with the music industry, partying my ass off at the time, was ill prepared for that kind of a surgery, and fell into a coma. And when I woke up, all I could think about was racing BMX, and not just like riding a BMX bike, but like racing at a national level.
Yeah.
And in 7 months, I lost 140 pounds, and I won the Grand National Championship at the end of the year.
Wow, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, it was pretty amazing. So came with an incredible community of people and friends and camaraderie and competition. You know, people say, why don't you just go out there and ride for fun? It's like, beating you is fun.
Yeah.
Like highly competitive. So
If there's no jeopardy, there's no fun.
That's kind of me. And so
yeah.
can't even go to a race and watch, because
Yeah,
I just
too painful. Yeah.
might bump somebody off their bike just for the fuck of it, you know? And so
Yeah.
yeah, I've had to put it away for now, but as they say, BMX is like the Hotel California. You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Track gonna always be there, and the oldest person I've seen on the track racing is 89 years old. So
whoa, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you've got a whole chunk of your career still ahead of you.
We're all good. Track gonna always be there.
Man, that is a perfect place to finish up, man. That's a really inspirational story. It really is.
Oh, right on, man. Right on.
And look, I can't thank you enough for your time. It's been an absolute joy.
Of course, likewise.
And just thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you in the studio in Wales, in Northstone Studios in Wales, when you're recording next.
Yeah, for sure. We're coming out. I'm going to come out to see Bloodstock.
Oh, cool.
This year, and then also that kind of folds right into going to go play the Dynamo Festival with the Bay Area Interthrational. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah, kind of little bits and pieces.
Yeah, kind of an all-star lineup of people playing the Dynamo Festival, which is absolutely stacked this year. So we're going to have a bunch of people join us on stage to kind of do a tribute to that Ruthie's In moment. You know, we play songs from about 5 different bands. So I'll be over there. I'll be over there this year. And brilliant. Yeah, looking forward to seeing you, man.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you, and I'm looking forward to the Attitude Adjustment re-releases. I'm looking forward to the new Boneless Ones album.
Thank you.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Thank you so much. See you soon, man.
Awesome. Take care. Too. Thanks, Howard. Have a good one.
You too, man.
Peace.
See ya. Bye-bye.